that we've cast on, we'll want to change the hands of our needles. So currently have all of the stitches in our right hand and we want to take them over to the left. So to do this, you just switch hands. So you want the empty needle in your right hand and the needle with your cast on edge in your left hand. And so there are two basic stitches in knitting. There's the knit stitch and the purl stitch. And once you learn this, you will have pretty much everything you need to get started. So quite a lot of patterns and types of stitches tend to just work with knit and purl. And you have all sorts of other complicated things, but that will come later as well. So to get started with the knit stitch, you have your needle with stitches in your left hand and your empty needle in your right hand. And you want to take the empty needle and insert it from right to left underneath this loop here and under the other needle and through. So you've gone into this loop and you'll see you have these two trails behind you, so you want to ignore this one that cuts short because that will lead nowhere, so ignore that. And we can weave that in later once we've finished. And you have this longer wool which is coming from your ball. So you'll want to grab the wool that's coming from your ball after you've inserted this here, and you want to take it round the back from right to left, so you're underneath both needles, and you'll then want to bring it back left to right through the middle, a bit like our first cast on method, but we're not adding stitches onto the same needle, this time we're building upon them. So you'll want to take that yarn from behind, go around through the middle, and now you'll want to move your right needle down through this loop here whilst grabbing the loop you just made. And you'll notice you've now got stitches on your right and your left needle. And so to make your first knit stitch, you simply just pop this off the end of the left or keeping it off on the right needle, and that's your first knit stitch. So knitting is just this method over and over again. So we'll start again. So you take the needle, your right hand needle, insert it into the bottom from right to left, under the needle and the wool like this, and you'll take the thread that's coming from your ball, take it round from right to left underneath and through the middle of both needles, and use your right needle to scoop that stitch through and bring it off the left. So let's try again. So you insert it here, come around the back and through the middle, use the right needle to scoop the stitch and bring it off the left hand needle. And so you'll want to do this over and over again until you get to the end. So going through here, and it might be a bit stiff because you've only just cast on, but it will get easier as you go along. Underneath and through the middle, and you want to scoop it off and off the left needle. So through the bottom, around the needle, scoop it out and lift it off. Through the bottom, around the needle, scoop it out and lift it off the left needle. And if you don't seem to get on with my instructions, I'd really recommend just looking up these steps on YouTube. So this is the knit stitch. And once you've gotten to the end, you'll realise that all of your stitches that you had on the left hand needle are now on the right hand needle. And it's grown slightly, not very much, but it's grown slightly. So this is your first row of knitting. And so to start again, we just want to switch hands and do the same all over again. So you want to kind of keep things tight, but not too tight, so you have a bit of leverage. You want to take your right needle and insert it from the bottom of the stitch on your left needle. Take the wool that's coming from your ball of yarn, take it around the back, through the middle of the needles, use your right needle to scoop the loop you've just made and bring it off the left. So you go in, bring the yarn around and through, scoop that loop and bring it off the back. Want to go in, wrap the yarn around, scoop it through and take it off. And as you get used to this method, this stitch knitting, you'll get faster and faster, so it kind of becomes internalized. But for beginners, it will just be a case of repeating the steps in your head. So going in, bringing the yarn around, scooping it through, and taking it off. And keep doing that, and you'll have your second row. So you can see that it's getting slightly longer, and in order to kind of build something up, you just want to keep repeating that step. So with these skills, you could make something like a scarf if you kept just knitting over and over again. You could make a cushion if you made 2 square pieces and sewed them together. So there's lots of possibilities with the knit stitch.